NBC5 responds, and it's pretty much everywhere, from facial scans at airport security to voice recognition on your phone. Biometric data collection has become a big part of everyday life.
A state law has been in effect since 2008 to protect consumers from the possible dangers of this data collection. But is this privacy law going too far? Here's PJ Randhawa with more.
You are the only person with your exact handprint. The same goes for your fingerprints, facial geometry, eyes, and voice. This type of information, known as biometric data, is uniquely yours. That's why many businesses, like this family-owned restaurant in Chicago, used biometric time clocks to keep track of their employees.
Just so we could easily keep time, and we didn't have to monitor it because nobody could clock anybody in or out. It was all the clock did it all for you. Ben
Cirencione has worked at Legno Chicago for 21 years. But in 2017, his family business was hit with a lawsuit from a former employee, alleging the company's method of timekeeping violated a controversial Illinois law.
It's been an uphill battle ever since. It's really been difficult.
Illinois' Biometric Information Privacy Act, or BIPA, requires private companies to obtain informed written consent from individuals before collecting their biometric data. It was enacted in 2008 to protect consumer privacy.
The problem that comes up is that, like any other sensitive piece of data, if this information were to fall into the wrong hands, there is a huge concern about the potential for abuse.
Attorney Greg Barbakoff specializes in cases involving BIPA violations. So far, he's handled around 30 to 40 of these cases.
The bottom line is that before we start asking consumers to hand over this type of sensitive information, they should, at the very least, know exactly what it is they're giving up, how that information is going to be retained, and most importantly, how it's going to be safeguarded and used.
But some, like Ben, are concerned that the law is going too far. He says his business lost around $400,000 in settlements because it didn't obtain informed written consent before collecting employees' handprints.
She was able to sue us and receive damages just for that mere fact, even though she could not prove that she was hurt in any way, that her information was being used for anything except timekeeping.
Legno Chicago hasn't been alone. According to Bloomberg Law, in the past 4.5 years, over 400 lawsuits alleging BIPA violations have piled up across the state, and many of them have been related to employment. Ben says the reason that so many Illinois companies are being targeted by BIPA is because they didn't even know about the law.
The state did a terrible job of informing businesses that they had to do this.
After the lawsuit years ago, Legno Chicago stopped using handprints for timekeeping. Now they're back to biometric time clocks, using retinal scans to track their employees. And this time, they're making sure to get informed written consent first.
It was an expensive lesson.
In August, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker signed an amendment to the state's Biometric Information Privacy Act to curb the amount of damages plaintiffs can claim for violations. PJ Randhawa, NBC5 responds.
All right, thank you, PJ.
Wow,
that's how we open our phones now. It's just your